Let us begin by dismantling a common and ultimately self-destructive illusion. The statement that people love gossip is one of those sweeping generalities that does more harm than good. It creates a cultural permission slip, a societal shrug that normalizes a behavior which is, at its core, a profound act of self-sabotage. It is not people who are captivated by the whispers and judgments of others' lives. It is a specific state of being, a particular configuration of the human psyche that finds sustenance in this hollow pastime. The individual who is lost, who is adrift in the vast ocean of their own potential without a compass, is the one who clings to the wreckage of other people's reputations. They are confused, lacking a clear goal, and their mental energy, untethered from a central purpose, spills out into the stagnant ponds of speculation and criticism. In stark contrast, the person who is focused, who has aligned their daily actions with a burning ambition, experiences gossip not as a pleasure, but as a psychic pollutant. For them, indulging in it triggers a visceral response of guilt and shame, a clear signal from their inner self that they are engaging in a wasteful, negative activity that diverts precious resources from their chosen path. The psychology of gossip is not as simple as mere idleness or malice. It is a complex coping mechanism, a faulty strategy the mind employs to navigate a perceived lack of personal power and significance. When an individual feels small, when their own life lacks direction, momentum, and meaningful achievement, their psyche seeks equilibrium. One way to achieve a temporary, illusory sense of elevation is to lower everyone else. Gossip becomes the great leveler. By focusing on the missteps, the flaws, and the private affairs of others, the confused individual creates a distorted reality in which they are, by comparison, doing just fine. This is not a conscious process, but a deeply subconscious one. It is a defense mechanism against the gnawing anxiety of personal inadequacy and the terrifying freedom of defining one's own purpose. The mind reasons, quite erroneously, that if it cannot build itself a magnificent castle, it can at least take comfort in pointing out the cracks in the walls of others' fortresses. This behavior is a symptom of a life lived externally, where the locus of control and the source of self-worth are found in the external world of other people's actions and opinions, rather than in the internal world of one's own values, efforts, and growth. This external focus creates a vicious, self-perpetuating cycle. The more time and mental energy invested in the lives of others, the less is available for the construction of one's own. This creates a vacuum, a greater sense of emptiness and stagnation, which in turn creates a greater need for the temporary relief that gossip provides. It is a psychological addiction to drama as a substitute for genuine progress. The brain, in its search for stimulation, finds the unpredictable narratives of other people's lives, their relationships, their failures, their secrets, to be a readily available source of cheap dopamine. It requires no effort, no risk, no vulnerability. One can simply sit in the stands and critique the players on the field. But this passive consumption of second-hand drama comes at a catastrophic cost. The atrophy of one's own will, the dimming of one's own creative spark, and the erosion of the capacity for deep, focused work that is the absolute prerequisite for any meaningful accomplishment. Now, let us turn our gaze to the other side of the chasm, the individual focused on their ambitions. Why do they feel that instinctual pang of guilt, that flush of shame, when they catch themselves slipping into a negative commentary about someone who is simply living their life? This reaction is not one of moral superiority. It is the signal of a highly calibrated internal system. For this person, time is not a limitless resource. It is the currency of their destiny. Every minute is a finite asset that can be invested in their craft, their health, their relationships, their learning, or it can be squandered. Gossip is the ultimate squandering. It is taking a gold coin and throwing it into a bottomless well. The feeling of guilt is the psyche's alarm bell, an urgent message from the inner CEO stating, "Alert, we are diverting critical resources from our core mission. This activity has a negative return on investment. Cease immediately." This sense of shame is equally instructive. It arises from a violation of one's own personal code of conduct. The ambitious individual understands, either consciously or intuitively, that their character is their most valuable asset. Integrity, focus, and a positive mindset are not just abstract virtues. They are the fuel for the long and arduous journey toward a significant goal. Engaging in gossip is like putting sugar in a high-performance engine. It corrupts the system. It introduces pettiness, negativity, and a judgmental spirit, qualities that are antithetical to the resilience, optimism, and self-belief required to overcome the inevitable obstacles on the path to success. The shame is a recognition that they have betrayed their own standards. They have lowered themselves from a builder to a critic, from a creator to a commentator. This emotional response is a powerful and healthy regulatory mechanism, guiding them back to the path of personal power and away from the quagmire of pointless judgment. The transition from a gossip-oriented mind to a goal-oriented mind is, therefore, one of the most significant upgrades a human being can make. It is a shift from being a passive consumer of life to an active author of it. This transformation does not happen by simply deciding to stop gossiping. It happens by addressing the root cause, the void that gossip was attempting to fill. The most potent antidote to the poison of gossip is the purposeful pursuit of a compelling goal. When you are building something, a business, a body, a skill, a deeper relationship, a work of art, your mental focus naturally contracts. Your cognitive resources, your imagination, and your problem-solving abilities are recruited into the service of that creation. You become so engrossed in your own narrative, with its own challenges, climaxes, and resolutions, that you have little interest or energy to spare for analyzing the subplots of other people's stories. This is not about becoming self-absorbed or indifferent to others. On the contrary, a person freed from the compulsion to gossip has a much greater capacity for genuine empathy and connection. When you are not secretly judging people, you can actually see them. You can listen to a friend's struggle without the hidden agenda of filing it away as a piece of future conversational currency. You can offer support without the silent superior commentary running in the background. Your relationships become cleaner, more authentic, and more supportive because they are built on a foundation of mutual respect and a focus on forward movement, rather than on the shaky ground of shared negativity. To cultivate this mindset, one must be deliberate. Start by conducting a ruthless audit of your mental and conversational diet. Notice the topics that dominate your thoughts and your talks. Are they centered on your projects, your learning, your growth, and your vision? Or are they preoccupied with the actions and opinions of others? When you feel the pull toward gossip, do not merely suppress it. Interrogate it. Ask yourself with compassionate curiosity, what is this really about? Am I feeling insecure right now? Am I avoiding a difficult task I need to tackle? Am I feeling unfulfilled in some area of my own life? Use the impulse as a diagnostic tool to identify the empty spaces within yourself that need your attention and care. Then, fill that space with intention. Define your ambitions with clarity. They do not have to be world-changing. They simply have to be meaningful to you. They could be to run a marathon, to learn a language, to build a garden, to achieve a promotion through excellence, to become a more present parent. The key is that the goal is yours, and it requires your active engagement. Pour your spare mental energy into planning your next step, learning a new skill, or reflecting on your progress. The mind, like nature, abhors a vacuum. If you do not fill it with purpose, it will be filled with distraction, and gossip is one of the most seductive and corrosive distractions available. In the end, the choice is a profound one. It is the choice between living a life of commentary and living a life of creation. It is the difference between defining yourself by what you are against in others and defining yourself by what you are for within yourself. The confused person, lost in the wilderness of gossip, is like a man staring at a map of other people's journeys, never taking a step on his own path. The focused person, guided by ambition, is the explorer, too captivated by the horizon ahead to bother with criticizing the routes others have chosen. Your life, your energy, and your attention are your most sacred possessions. To invest them in the trivial, negative affairs of others is a betrayal of your own potential. To reclaim them, to direct them with fierce intentionality toward your own aspirations, is to step into your power and begin the truly meaningful work of crafting a life that is not about others, but is authentically and gloriously your own.